Welcome, beautiful souls, to Feminine Power, the She-Volution podcast. I'm Eva Simone. I'm so excited you're here. This podcast is a space where we're going to break free from the limitations that hold us back. Embrace our feminine power and create lives we absolutely love. We are in a She-Volution, a revolution of self-discovery where women are rising to their full potential, claiming their power, and rewriting the rules of the game. This podcast is your guide, your cheerleader, and your compass on this journey. We'll explore together the depths of your feminine wisdom, unlock your inner strength, and ignite the fire within you to create a life that is aligned with your soul's purpose. Get ready to tap into your next level self, embrace your unique power, and unleash the extraordinary woman you were born to be. Welcome to Feminine Power, the She-Volution podcast. I have a woman on who I'm in awe of her. I am fascinated by her story, how she came into this newness of herself. Her name is Kirsten, and the last name is, get ready for this, Bomdiggity. That is her real name. And anybody who's given themselves a name Bomdiggity is a friend of mine. So I am ready to get started. Kirsten, hello. And
hello.
Thank you for coming into our world. This is exciting. I'm so excited about you. How are you, my friend?
I am just so magical and wonderful and happy to be here. So thank you for inviting me into your space. This is wonderful. It's always great when you can just kind of meet somebody at a similar energy level and just kind of, celebrate each other. So thanks.
Yes. So I want you to tell the audience a little bit about yourself, because we talk about going to our next level all the time. We are wanting to, but you said something really interesting about the next level. When I said next level on our call, you called it something else. And I want to see if you remembered. You were like, it's really not a next level. It's what kind of level again?
Well, I think when we talk about next or best, it kind of brings out our competitive edge or can bring out some shame. And so for me, I want us to keep us rooted in joy and in gratitude. For me, it's all about our favorite level, our favorite self.
People, did you hear that? Our favorite level. And I like that, because you're right. It can bring out competition, or I'm not good enough, or something. So I love that you talk about that favorite level. But I want you to go a little bit deeper. There's a beautiful energy around you. I love your story. The audience doesn't know about the story yet. But I want you to take us back to the moment that you said, yes, girl, yes, I'm choosing myself. What happened?
I think that growing up, I had this dream of being a stay-at-home mom and a dedicated wife and just kind of living with the white picket fence. And like we all do, you get knocked down and all of that determines, our framing, but what we have control over is how we respond. And at the end of the day, as a divorced woman, as a woman who went in and developed a wonderful career, I would say that the most important love of our lives should be ourselves. And so that's kind of, and that's a very scary concept, for a lot of us, where we're kind of taught to just focus on others, be giving, lead with love, lead with grace. And yet we don't do that very well for ourselves. So just trying to figure out how we fit into that picture, but we can still be fed by taking care of others and leading with love.
Oh my gosh, I'm so relating to everything you're saying, because nobody really teaches us how to love ourselves. When I think about when we're little, our parents or someone says, I love you, or not, whatever it was. But I one day woke up and said to my son, I love you, but you love you. To make sure that he knew that you're also responsible for your own love. Because if you're always looking on the outside for love, Sometimes you will be supported. Sometimes you will be disappointed. Sometimes.
Yeah. And we find the evidence we're looking for. So why wouldn't you set yourself up for success?
Because we don't know.
Yeah.
No one's taught us. And a lot of times we take the long road back home to this place and we're like, gosh. But I ask you, if someone would have said to you after you had developed for you to love yourself, would you have even understood?
I think that there are different ways that people come into that understanding. I am there. I don't know if I believe in coincidences as much as like coincidences. And so for me, a lot of my self-image, and I think because it is harder sometimes, especially to kind of embrace that love that we give to others. For me, my self-image started in my faith because it is so much easier to love myself. And for me, faith is like anything that you can lean into when life gets hard. So for me, it might be like, whoa, Jesus, yay. But for somebody else, it might be a blade of grass. It might be a baby belly laugh. It might be a jar of chunky peanut butter. Like whatever it is, we all deserve to feel like we have a soft place to fall in this world. And so for me, where it just happens to be that Jesus guy, like knowing that the person that I'm loving isn't me necessarily, but the person that I'm choosing to love is this creation of God, that this child of God. And for me, that made it so much easier to give myself grace and just be like, yeah, I got good stuff to do here. I'm on a mission. Let's figure this out and just try and follow some of that. And so I think that is really where my unconditional love and acceptance of myself was born.
That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. I was watching something the other night and a lady, they were trying to get her to have the feeling of worthiness. Mm. And she struggled terribly. She said, my worthiness comes from helping another person. And my worthiness comes from. And the guy said to her, well, why do you think you need to do that in order to feel worthy? And she said, well, I feel good when I do those things. And he said, well, you feel bad if the person doesn't reciprocate or show you that they appreciate what you're doing. And then he said, well, I want to help you to shift this. And he brought out a baby doll and he said, hold the baby. And she held the baby. And he said, the baby, do you think a baby is worthy as soon as the baby is born? She said, absolutely. He said, why? She said, because that's a baby. And then she said, oh. So I ask you, did you ever have issues or that you felt not worthy as you went on your journey?
Well, I think we all do, right? And I think that's why it's so important in the community that we choose to be around, because we want to be around the minds and the hearts of people who lift us up and see the best version of us, see the favorite version of us. And I think that whole like defining yourself based on your productivity, that is something that in different ways attacks men and women equally, and it looks different, but it's definitely a message that, how am I providing? How am I loving? How am I taking care of, and especially when you factor in parenthood into that mix as well, that like I can remember packing my son's lunch with the little notes and, everything was so perfect. And then like, I would just run out the door and be like, well, I don't know what I'm going to eat today for lunch. Like there was no reason to like have that sacrifice at all. And yet there was no consciousness or intent about my self-care in that.
Yes. What happens to us that we forget that side? What do you think happens? What happened to you? It certainly has happened to me. What happened?
I don't know if we ever necessarily get taught that though, like if our parents are coming in and they're taking care of like what we're seeing is take care of others, there isn't a lot of emphasis, education, training, toolkit building on, how to self-care, how to validate yourself, how to self-soothe, I think that just trying to figure out, what that looks like, analyzing your own love languages, like I remember having a desperate desire to have a husband that would want to bring me flowers. And it was like, okay, so is it because I want to soften us? Just because I really enjoy having flowers in the home. And the truth is, I just love the happiness of having flowers in the home because they just kind of remind me of the importance of being present, of being, of taking advantage of the beauty that's right in front of us. It's not going to be around.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I totally get that too. Tell me about your name change.
Oh,
I want to hear about that.
oh my gosh. So, well, first off, going through a divorce has its own joys that go with it. And I really wanted the stank of that whole relationship off of my identity. And legally, I could only roll back to my maiden name or stay where I was at. And so then I was like, no, I have successfully outgrown every previous version of me. Like I am not rolling backwards. And so, a number of years ago, I got one of those lovely Peloton bikes, and you got to pick a username, and I put a lot of thought into it. And so my username for my Peloton bike was Bomdiggity. And so then when I was figuring out, okay, well, what do I want to do? How do I want to go forward? I just jokingly said that I was going to pick that. And then the more I played with it, I was like, why not? Like, it really speaks to how I feel about the universe. It speaks to, how I believe in being authentic and showing up and living in joy and living in gratitude and being present. And it just became a happy place, and, my mother at one point was like, what am I supposed to tell my friends? And I was like, does that come up a lot? You talk about your children's last names a lot? I'm just kidding. I'm just, and yet, I went into the court. The court didn't even bat an eye. She didn't care at all. And, go judge. But
Oh God.
it has been the best gift to my spirit because, like, for whatever reason, I'm not going to be everyone's cup of tea. And that's 100% okay. Nobody is. Like, but it's so important that we find our people that see us and celebrate us. And so for a lot of people, they'll see Bomdiggity and they'll be like, oh, she is undermedicated and needs more therapy, like just lift her up in prayer. And that's 100% fine and dandy. Those aren't my people. I'm not going to be looking for them. But how wonderful that I am no longer wasting energy or space trying to get them to convince them that I'm worthy of being loved, that I'm worthy of being seen, that I have human value, that I have gifts that I can share. Like, they have already self-certified themselves out of my life.
Yes.
And the lightness in it, if we figure, like, to me, there's this veil between, like, how we kind of get through day to day and our favorite self. And we want that veil to be as thin as possible so we can access it as thin as possible. Just like a good faith can ground you, or a good relationship can ground you, or a good book, or a good scoop of ice cream. Like, you want that veil to just be readily so you can just grab it at any time. And so for me, being Kirsten Bom Diggity, like, makes me giggle a lot. And children giggle so much more than adults. And I just really believe in the importance of play and laughter and joy because it keeps us so close to that, like, favorite self.
Oh, I fell in love with you after I figured out your name. I was like, this is my people.
Check.
Yes.
And it helps bring people in too, right? Like, people automatically think, okay, they're my people. You've already made a story up about me that says that we're going to get along fine. We're going to talk. You're going to be able to show up as yourself too. Like, the thing about being a coach is that I don't want to make anybody more like me. I'm doing that. I got that. I got it covered. My goal is to help you be more like you. And you can do that if you feel like I don't have an agenda. I don't have any skin in the game. My whole goal is to hear what lights you up, like what gets you excited, what gets you happy, what gets you laughing, what gets you joy. And we just kind of chase that with passion. And
I know I do.
Yeah.
I have problems at times when I see people chasing stuff, but they are numb inside. Like, there's no life. It doesn't light them up. The money lights them up, but inside they're suffering. I used to be that, so I know all about it. But when you find that passion about who you are and how you show up, it's just, I call that total embodiment, fully in your light. And regardless of how people handle it or take it, you're in your light. What was it like for you when you first started, you shift over to this new name? Was it like, were you like, oh boy, okay, I have to say it. Oh boy, I have to say it. Bomdiggity.
I'm actually, there are still times when I kind of catch myself where I feel like people think I'm pranking them, and so I'll often say, and I swear this is my right legal name and it says it on my driver's license, and I'll preemptively like add that, but I think that there is a cultural push. There's profit to be made off of us hating ourselves, like that we aren't thin enough or smart enough or successful enough or rich enough or enough. And so and a lot of that is brought on by this concept that we can fill this out there. And if we just keep pursuing that, buying that, doing that, pursuing that, taking that then somehow it will make all this right. And
it doesn't.
And the purpose of a good coach or a good mentor or a good friendship or a good someone who just loves you, period, is that it's not just you're looking to make like changes. It's that you're looking to kind of like get back to who you were, like who you were born to be, like walk yourself home. And then at that celebration party, all of those other things that you're looking for, you become this powerful magnet that just kind of attracts all of that good stuff, that success, that joy, that, and then the, being able to pay your bills, being able to feel loved and being able to love without, you had said, they don't respond. The woman that you were talking to, like on the TV show, well, they don't respond when I give them a gift. Like, that sucks, that you're giving a gift just because of the get back, if it's a gift, then it's a gift. And so it's so much easier to just come from that place of abundance.
Yes.
If we can give without strings, and give without expectations, because the expectations, that's the evil E word that will just kind of screw up every relationship, and make sure that we're not, in alignment.
Yeah. Oh, I totally agree with that. And for me, I think sometimes, before I went through my big awakening, I was in the energy of expectation, and it was disappointment, hand over fist. And once I became what I was looking for, like if you're looking for love, you got to become love. You're looking for abundance, then you need to have some inner richness. If you're looking for, you better have that on the inside. Once I shifted into that, it was a game changer. And I realized, when you start to integrate and really allow those things to emerge from you and embody this self fully, people pleasing, this falls off.
Yeah.
The external validation just falls off. The need to be liked just falls off. You step in your power. So when I saw your name, I'm like, who is this person? Tell us.
Well, and I think there's different levels of that too. Like I'm taking this certification right now on narrative intelligence, and it's just like blowing my mind. It's so wonderful and cool. And one of the concepts that we were talking about in a session last week was the pivotal identity shift for a lot of people of being desperate to be seen, but terrified to be known. And right? Like we all want to be seen, but don't know, like, and trying to find like where that wall goes up. And so,
yes,
Tony Robbins, like in all of his like manic high energy stuff, one of the things that I love that he talks about is like, when you set a goal, burn the boat, make it so that, you're committed. And to me, Bomdiggity was a burn the boat moment. Like there was no, and I guess, yes, I could go back and be like, yes, I'd like to be Kirsten Shaw again, and like, whatever. But it was a declaration and it was a line in the sand that said, no more. And I think that's how we can invite other people into themselves, is just be like, what's your no more version? Like, what are we getting rid of that just doesn't serve you anymore? And that's where a lot of the shame comes in too, right? Because like I think of the little girl that protected me as a child after sexual abuse and just all the things that she said and did. And sometimes I'll look up and that little brat will be sitting at the decision-making bus driver of my life, right? And she'll just be cruising along and just flipping everybody off and just kind of eating her ding-dongs, whatever. But she makes very different choices than the favorite version of me.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
before, I would have this shame and be like, girl, you need to get and like, what a gift to finally be able to say to her, you know what, like you did the best you could at the time. And I am so grateful for what you gave me and gave us. But honey, you can rest now. It's okay. I got this. And to be able to come into the versions of us that are rooted in pain or trauma and just be able to be like, like, thank you. You did it. Like, good job. We would not be here without you. High five. Like,
Yes.
You rock, but I got this. You can relax. Take a rest. I got it.
Yes, I talk about that too with, my work that I do. I call her, for me, the wounded protector. She's wounded, but she's still trying to protect, and she's trying to make me remember. Girl, you remember, we're scared.
Oh.
We know how we are. We don't do those extra things. I have my little thing here. We don't do those extra things. So why are you trying to do this X, Y, or Z? And I said, honey, you can walk beside me or behind me. We're moving forward. And when that happens, everything calms down so that I can be in the energy of my own personal power. So tell us now that you've gotten through so many beautiful things, and I call them beautiful. Everything in life I feel is beautiful because it's a part of your journey. It's a part of you being Kirsten Bom Diggity.
You cannot celebrate the tower of Jenga that is your life without pulling, if you try and pull out some of those pieces, that tower is going to fall. So either celebrate the tower or don't, but celebrate the tower. It's so much easier.
And that's so beautiful that you said that, because when I think about the Jenga, you're trying to like put the next piece on top and then you pull one out and everything falls.
Yeah.
It's all important. It's all important on the journey that you can self-soothe because you know that I'm okay. Mm-hmm. I was able to overcome that thing. Oh, I grabbed some beautiful golden lessons from that, and that can help me with this. And I'm expanding in a beautiful way. Oh, today I did this. And I remember 20 years ago when I did that, look how far I've come. Mm-hmm. A lot of times we don't even look how far we've come. We stay stuck in the story.
Oh, the gap in the gain. Yeah. Yeah. So like somebody wants to lose 100 pounds and they've lost 90. I'll be danged if they're going to focus on that 90 they've already lost. Like they're going to focus on the 10 that they still have to lose instead of celebrating that 90. Like you can do both, sis. Like you can do both. Like celebrate all that you've done to be where you are today. And it's just, again, it's rooted in us not feeling like enough. Like we need to be doing more, like, and the more that we can reclaim that power that me, just because I breathe, I am enough. Like, let that be, let that swim through you like a cake batter of, like everything that you're in, instead of compartmentalizing this part and this part and this part. Mix it up like a beautiful cake batter and make some funnel cakes or French toast or whatever, and, bake it up.
That's so beautiful because, I think about sometimes we plan for a vacation. We're like, we take 5 vacations a year or whatever it is. But when we get on vacation, we're still hurried. We're still thinking about what I'm going to do next. Okay, what do I have to do? We can't turn it off. Like, I feel like we're in like an always on position in life. And if we recognize that we are enough and settle in and let the brain know and our subconscious know that we are enough, do you believe then that we can enjoy our lives?
I think it's really important for people to understand that our brains are not designed to make us happy.
Totally.
Our brains are designed to keep us safe. But the whole point of a vacation implies that there's something out of balance with your life, that you need that break. And that should be a key to you, that, maybe there's some tweaks that you need to make so that you feel like you are living your vacation life every day.
Every day.
Yeah, every day. Let's go on vacation today.
Yeah. Or the vacation can start right now. Like this is a vacation because we're enjoying the moment.
Right.
What is something that you would want a beautiful woman who's going through something to know based on your life, your beautiful life? What would you tell her if she's saying, Kirsten, just give me some advice about life and how to really enjoy it?
I think that if you're hurting and you're feeling like you're not enough and, dancing in the darkness, for me, the easiest shift away from that is to be like, you know what, there have been times when I can remember being genuinely happy. And if I take it back to my faith, then to me, it's like, oh, I was doing something right, and that scared something that's not right. And so whether it's a negative energy or the adversary or whatever you want, like if you can frame any kind of struggle as a power grab by a negative energy or, the adversary, whatever it is, like, an ex-husband, whatever, know that doesn't come from, that pull does not come from a source of plenty. It doesn't come from a source of love. It doesn't come from a source of gratitude and joy. Remember that we cannot be grateful and anxious at the same time.
No.
So if you're totally stuck, go love on somebody, even if you can't figure out how to give it to yourself. Give and know that you'll get back around to it, and that you're designed as this imperfect, perfect blessing, and that you will be just fine, and figure out how to feel your feels, but know that you're exactly as you are, perfect.
Yes.
Yeah.
I talk a lot about masculine and feminine energy. I love bringing the energies of both sides of me up. Whenever I was going through a lot of my stress in my life, I recognized that I pushed the feminine side of me down so far.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that I could embody both sides of me to be a powerhouse. So now when I am getting up in the morning, I'm like, you get to bring both sides to you. You get to bring the structure. You also can be nurturing and intuitive. You can be powerful in ways that are like you didn't even imagine that you could be. Was there ever a time that you said, listen, this is my time to be in all of me? And when it happened, how quickly did you transition into it? Or was it like that?
I think when I think about masculine and feminine energy, I think a lot about strong and soft. Yep. And I think career-wise, I was so good at stepping into that strong. And so then I tried to get those soft needs met through my partners. And then because I had more muscle memory with the strong, I tended to be a magnet to people who wanted that strong feminine energy, but were threatened or incapable of meeting me where I was at, to be a soft place to fall, to be my protector, to be the man energy, the male energy that I loved and craved and needed to have my balance. And so as I've gotten older, it really is about showing up professionally as strong and soft, showing up in my relationships as strong and soft. So I'm not making them choose. It's just, here I am, and welcome to the party. And either it's a party you want to attend or you don't, and that's fine. But again, the compartmentalization, I think, is where we kind of kill off part of our authenticity, because we think this space I'm too much feminine this, I'm not enough masculine that. Like, just trying to figure out, like, just be you, and know that you are the perfect blend already, and just show up as how it feels good.
Yes. Oh, I love that. I want to reach across the screen and hug you for that. I love that. I love when women are bringing both of them up and embodying them in a beautiful way. My friend, this has been beautiful. Tell everybody about your book.
It's called Divorced After 40, an Guide to Rewriting Your Second Act. And you can get a link for it at my website, which is fbomdiggity.com. You can also learn about my coaching program. I have an 8-week identity embrace shift adventure that is so much fun and so much play. And it has like medals and points and gamified, and it's just ridiculous and wonderful. And so I'd love to have anybody come and have an exploratory call with me that would be interested in seeing if we might be a good fit for each other.
Oh, I love it. This has been beautiful, and we're going to be running out of time soon. Thank you so much for sharing the time. And
what a gift to me. Thank you. This made my day.
yes, it's been beautiful, and I loved every minute of it. It's been Bomdiggity.